to make a candy star fidget. First, you want to start off with 15 beads in a circle like so. This will be your X base. Then thread your string through the first point and add 3 beads between each point. Thread up to the next bead and add another 3 beads between each point all around. If you're enjoying this content, please let me know. Leave suggestions for what to make next. Thread up to the next point, then thread 2 beads between each of the points. Do this all around. Now it should look like this. Now it's time to add the points. You should be coming out of this bead here. Add 5 beads and add it to the next point bead of that row. Take your string and diagonally string to the bottom point bead. Repeat the previous process as you did for the first star. String down between these 2 beads and tie off. Make a ring of 20, tie and cut off extra string and put on. Now you are done. Enjoy.
I'm going to teach you guys how to make the little candy jellyfishes. You just need some jewelry cord and some beads and some scissors. I say you need about this much cord, maybe a little bit more, we'll see. I'm going to make a rainbow jellyfish to show the different layers, but you don't have to. First, we're going to put 3 beads onto our string and tie off. I triple knot it just so it's super tight, but you can just do as many as you're comfortable with. Oh my god. And then cut the extra string off. Then we're going to take our string and go through 1 bead, it just to hide the knot on it. So it should look like that. Next, we're going to put 1 bead in each of these sides here. So string 1 bead, go through, string through, string through. So we're going to put 1 bead, string, pull through, and then repeat that. All right, we're stringing the last bead. I don't use a thread or a bead needle or thread needle, whatever people use. I just do it with my hand. It is a little bit more difficult, but I think it's not an issue. But this is what it should look like at the end. Then we're going to go ahead and string through this top bead as well. All right, with our string coming out this end here, and we have our triangle, make sure you pull it pretty tight. We're going to add 3 beads and then string through the top. 3 beads, skip, string, 3 beads, string. Okay, I hope that makes sense. We'll show you. Okay, we're going to take our 3 beads, string through this next point, oh my gosh, and pull tight. And then we're going to do that again 2 more times. This is what it should look like after you string it through there. Now, what we're going to do next is add a single bead into these corners here to make a full circle around the purple, right? So we need to string through 1, 2, and 3 and get that point right there. So it should look like this. Next, we're going to add 1 bead, go through all 3 of these, add a bead, go through all 3 of these, and then add a bead and go through, and then we'll meet you back at the end. So we added a bead, and then we're going to string it through all 3 of these. So when we pull it, it's just making that circle for us. So we're going to do that 2 more times. Okay, we just added our last bead, and now we're going to string through the next 4. So string through that first 3, and then, okay, you see how hard it is without the needle. But it is possible, I swear. I do it all the time. Okay. Sometimes if you get your thread twisted, just pull it. You've got this. So now we should have a full circle around our purple. You don't have to pull super tight or anything. I just keep it structured basically. And what we're going to do next is we're going to add 3 beads and string through 6 different sides. So it's going to be those ones, but I'll show you 2 of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to string 3 beads and then go through right there. We're just going to skip 1 bead and go through the next one. The only thing about not using a thread needle, once it gets like this, the top of the string, you just want to trim it so it's easier to put through the beads. So now we're going to repeat that 5 times. Okay, I just stringed my last 3. Now with this next one, we're not just going to go through this one. We need to get it back to that point again. So we're going to go through the next 3 beads, or next 2 beads out of that original one you're going into. And you should get this star shape. I hope you guys are following. Next, we're going to string 3 beads and put them through all of the points of those stars that we just created. So string 3 beads, go through the star, and it should make a circle. You're going to repeat that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more times. Now, when we're stringing the last one, we're going to go through that middle green one right there and pull through and then string the next 2 beads too to get us back to that point. As you can see, and this is why I recommend doing different colors, it's really adding 3 at a time, and you're always kind of going through that middle one of the colors. It really makes it super simple. Okay, the next step is to add 3 more beads, and we're going to go through those middle points again, but this time on that last layer we did. So mine's the yellow, as you can see, but we're going to do that all the way around. Okay, we just strung our last 3 beads. Then we're going to go through, and just like the last layer, we're going to go through 2 more times to get us back to that point. Now, if you pull it too tight, it's going to start forming it all the way covered. That's not bad. It's just about the shape of the jellyfish you're going for. I like more of the open look, but you can do a more like structured one as well. But for the next step, we're going to add 4 beads and go through those points again. So not 3 this time. I'm going to actually tie off a little bit more string because I underestimated it. And tying on some new string is just as simple as tying 2 of the strings together. Pull pretty tight. I double knot it, but you could do more. Okay, so we're going to take 4 beads and then go through that next 3 point, or the last 3 points we put on, but we're going to put it through the middle. So it should do that, and then we're going to do that all the way around just like the same. Okay, we strung our last 4 beads, and then we're just going to go through that last orange bead that I'm using, but whatever color you're using, that one right there, and we're going to go ahead and tie off. I usually go through the bottom and then just through and through. I hope that made sense. Now, I don't want it to be super crazy tight here, so I'm just going to open it a little bit. It's still going to be pretty hooded, but that top jellyfish shape. But you're going to want to tie this off at least 2 to 3 times. And you have officially completed the top of the jellyfish. Next, you're going to get 3 individual strings about that long. These are going to be the tentacles. So if you look on my blue layer, I have these points. So if you look at the ones in 3, so 1, 2, and 3, that is where we're going to actually put our tentacles. So string through there and then go ahead and slide these under and pull from the other side pretty tight so it covers that on the outside. So now we're going to put 12 beads on to our tentacle. And when we're doing it, we're going to put them through both of the strings. So as you see, we put both beads and just let it slide all the way down. I'm going to pull it just to make sure it goes all the way to that end down there, but 12 beads. And then we're going to take 1 single bead and go through one of the strings, and then we're just going to tie off. So when we tie off, you don't want to make it super tight because you want to give it tension, but it's going to kind of let it do that. After I do the first one pretty loose is when we can tie the second one off a lot tighter. And I triple knot it and then cut off the excess, and then boom, we have tentacle 1 done. So then we're going to take that next string that we got, and we went through this one last time, so we're just going to move over and go through this one over here. Remember, push it through to the bottom so that we can work with it. So just like the last one, we're going to string through both of these strings until we have 12 beads on. And then on that last bead, the 13th, remember 1 string and tie off. All right, and then we just tie off and cut the excess. And then for our last tentacle, as you can guess, probably it's the same method. Put it through that last of the 3 and then put it through to the other side so we can use it. It helps on this side if you make them the same length and then kind of just push them together so you're able to put these beads on a little bit easier when you're putting it through both, like that. And on that last bead again, just to make sure, put it only through one of the strings and then tie off. Again, I tied the first one loose, then the next 2 pretty tight. And so when we cut off, we have a completed jellyfish. Something you absolutely do not have to do, but I like to do, is add a circle to the top so it's easier for me to kind of carry around, or if I give it to people, it's a little bit easier to not just hand them an object. But I make a circle like so, and then I usually double knot this. But then you have your little jellyfish. This one, obviously I pulled a little bit tighter, so it's a little bit more hooded. Now, if you don't pull as tight, you get more of this like open look, but good luck.
Kandi Stress Ball Tutorial.
Today I will teach you how to make a candy cube. You will need elastic string, scissors, pony bead, and a plastic needle is optional but helps. First, string 5 beads and then string 3 more beads on one side of the string. Then, with the other end of the string, go through the 3 beads you just strung. Then, add 1 bead to each side. Repeat this process 2 more times. Once you put together most of your cube, it should look like this. You'll add 2 more single beads on each side, and then go down through one side and tie a knot tight. In the end, it should look like this. Let me know if you have any questions.
Alright, I'm going to show you how to make 3D candy stars. Just a heads up, this is not for beginners. This is not going to be a complete step-by-step tutorial, and you're going to need to be proficient with peyote stitch before you try this. Alright, you're going to need string and scissors and of course beads. I will be using 3 different colors. Alright, you're going to start by putting on 4 beads and then pulling it tight and tying a knot. From here on out, I will be referring to these beads as core beads. Here's where I tied the knot. Then I threaded through this core bead, added on 2 core beads, thread into the next core bead. Add on 2 core beads, thread into the next core bead. Add on 2 core beads, thread into the next core bead. Then just do that one more time. Come through here, pull it tight and tie a knot. Alright, here's where I tied the knot. Then I added on 2 core beads, thread into the next core bead. Then I added on a new color. From here on out, I'm going to be referring to these as body beads. So you add on a body bead, thread into the next core bead. Add on 2 core beads, thread into the next core bead. Add on a body bead, thread into the next core bead. Add on 2 core beads, thread into the next core bead. Add on a body bead, thread into the next core bead. Just repeat that process one more time through here. Pull it all tight, tie a knot. All right, by now it's going to take on this weird shape. That's normal. Hopefully this is easy to follow along. I tied a knot in here. Then I thread it out through this core bead, added on 2 core beads, thread it into the next core bead. Add on a body bead, thread into the next body bead. Add on a body bead, thread into the next core bead. Add on 2 core beads, thread into the next core bead. Add it on a body bead, thread into the next body bead. Add on a body bead, thread into the next core bead. And then just do the same thing for this other side, and then pull it tight and tie a knot. Because of the shape, I'm only going to show you how to do one side, but I tied a knot in here, threaded through this core bead, add on 2 core beads, thread into the next core bead. Add on a body bead, thread into the next body bead. Add on a body bead, thread into the next body bead. Add on a body bead, thread into the next core bead. Add on 2 core beads, thread into the next core bead. And then just do the same thing for the other 3 sides. When you're all done, you should have something that looks like this. If you want to double check yourself on anything, it should be a row of 5 core beads, or also 5 body beads across. So for this next step, you need to make 4 more just like this. All right, once you have 5 of these made, you pick one of them, whether you still have a tassel left over from making it, or if you have to tie on a new piece of string. Come out through this core bead, add on a new color of bead. From here on out, I will be referring to these as connector beads. So you add on a connector bead, thread into the next core bead. Add on a connector bead, thread into the next body bead. Add on a connector bead, thread into the next body bead. Add on a connector bead, thread into the next body bead. Add on a connector bead, thread into the next core bead. Add on a connector bead, thread into the next core bead. And then just do the same thing for the other 3 sides. All right, when I made my way around adding on the connector beads, I threaded through this core bead, pulled it tight and tied a knot. Then I threaded into this connector bead, through this core bead, and out this connector bead. And then I threaded into the body bead of the new piece, then to the connector bead of the first piece, then the body bead of the new piece, then the connector bead of the first piece, then the body bead of the new piece, then to the connector bead of the first piece, and then the core bead of the new piece, then into the connector bead on the corner of the first piece. Then you're going to want to pull it tight and tie a knot. All right, here's where I tied the knot. And then as I came out this connector bead, I crossed sides and went into this core bead. And then you're just going to keep going back and forth, switching sides, going from this core bead to the connector bead, to the body bead, connector bead, body bead, connector bead, body bead, connector bead, core bead. Then you're going to add a connector bead, thread into the next core bead. Add a connector bead, thread into the next body bead. Add a connector bead, thread into the next body bead. Add a connector bead, thread into the next body bead. Add a connector bead, thread into the next core bead. Then you're going to want to pull it tight and tie a knot. All right, here's where I tied the knot. Then as I came out this core bead, I added on a connector bead, thread into the next core bead. Add on a connector bead, thread into the next body bead. Add on a connector bead, thread into the next body bead. Add on a connector bead, thread into the next body bead. Add on a connector bead, thread into the next core bead. Add on a connector bead, thread into the next core bead. Then thread into this connector bead and pull it tight and tie a knot. Once you've done that, you've got the first two sides fully attached. And once you've joined the two pieces, it should look something like this. And then you just need to attach the other sides, just the same way as I've shown you before. It's easiest coming out of one of these connector beads on the center pieces. I will be threading up through here and down through the other side, but you could also just tie into one of these spots with a new piece of string and get going with it. But yeah, you just need to attach the other three sides. And when you're all done, it should look something like this.
How to make these candy stars. You'll need about this much elastic. Too much is better than too little. 15 for the outside. Put the 10 beads on your elastic and tie it off. Don't cut the ends. Take one of the ends and thread 3 of your outside beads on the elastic. Skip one bead and thread do that all the way around like skipping one bead and threading through the second bead. It should look like this. Then just tie it off and cut the ends and you're done.
Spike cuff tutorial. Add 2 beads. Put the ends of the string together and add 1 bead on both ends of the string, like this. Separate the ends of the string again. Then grab 2 more beads, put 1 on each end. Put them together again and add another bead over both. Repeat until it fits around your wrist. Should look like this. Tie the ends together when you are done. Put the end through the bead below it. Make sure to do this on both sides. Add a bead, then put the end of the string through the bead below it. Do the other side, then repeat until the bottom. Now the other side, and tie. Place the ends together. Put the ends of the string through the middle of the last 2 beads. Watch carefully and tie them like it. Sorry you couldn't really see. I'll do it again. The other side. Struggling. Cut the ends. Grab more string and tie it around the knot. Add 3 beads for the spike. Put the string through the first middle bead. Then, without any beads on your string, put the end of your string through the next middle bead. Add 3 more beads. Put the end of the string through the next 2 middle beads. Repeat that process. Put 3 white beads. Then put the string through the next 2 middle beads. Once you're at the end, tie it like this. Finished.
Tutorial for ladder star fidgets. Disclaimer: before you start, you will need to know how to do a ladder stitch cuff. It will make it easier for you to understand. Start with making a normal ladder stitch with only 1 bead each time. Stop when you get up to 10 beads. Asterisk makes sure to keep the beads in the middle of the string so you don't run out of string on either side. You can use any color or amount of beads for each row. Like my star with 3 beads, you will just need longer string. It's important to tighten the beads. If it's too loose, your star will fall apart. Take the last bead and connect it with the first bead. This will make a circle. This is the time where yarn needles makes it easier to stitch, so double knot a needle on each string. Start the second ladder stitch row. Connect the bead back to the first row. Your string will make a triangle shape. You could either repeat it this way 9 more times or try my method if you're feeling confident. What I did was string all the beads using only one needle and then went back with the other. Trust the process. Make sure to tighten this row too. Once you go through the bead we started with, take off the needles and tie the 2 ends together with a granny knot. I like to pull and adjust the knot through a bead to make it less noticeable. Snip the excess. Push every other point towards the middle of the circle. Once you're done, you should have a star shape. Grab a shorter piece of string. String through one of the 5 beads in the middle to start another ladder stitch. Go through the other 4 beads. After you go through them, stitch only one of the strings into the bead we started with. You should be stitching it in a circle. Go back and tighten the string. This will make the beads make a clicking sound. Tie these 2 together in a granny knot. Snip, snip. Pull the knot through a bead again and adjust the shape if needed. Yay, you did it. Hooray. Stars, 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 stars.